the woman who kept a Roman household alive. The Roman epitaph once praised a woman in 4 Latin words. She kept the house. She made wool. It said nothing about the water she carried upstairs, the meals she stretched, or the nights when she ate less so her children would not. The woman in this story is a reconstruction. We will call her Elia. Her name is imagined. Her work was not. Before sunrise, she is already awake. An oil lamp flickers beside the wall. Its flame casts a small amber circle across the floor. Her husband and 2 children are still asleep on thin sleeping mats spread across the next room. Elia dresses quietly. At her right hip, she ties a small bronze key to her belt. It is no longer than a finger. The key opens a wooden chest against the wall. The lock answers with a dry click. Inside are 2 needles, a folded piece of cloth, a little lamp oil, and a few worn coins. Nothing in the chest is valuable to Rome. Everything in it matters to this family. Elia lifts the grain jar. It feels lighter than it did yesterday. She tilts it near the lamp and listens. A thin stream of grain scratches against the clay. Enough for today. Maybe. Tomorrow depends on whether her husband finds work and whether she finishes a sewing job before evening. The water jar is nearly empty too. She wraps a plain brown cloth around her shoulders, takes a smaller clay vessel, and steps into the stairwell. The wooden steps creak beneath her sandals. Down on the street, Rome is beginning to stir. A cartwheel strikes a paving stone. A shopkeeper lifts a shutter. Somewhere nearby, a baker pulls the first loaves from an oven. At the public basin, water spills steadily from a stone spout. Rome's aqueducts have carried it across miles of countryside and into the neighborhood. Elia must carry it the rest of the way. She fills the vessel only as high as she can safely lift it. Then she braces it against her body and starts home. On the stairs, she watches every step. One slip would mean a broken jar and another journey. By the time she reaches the apartment, the children are awake. Her son rubs his eyes. Her daughter sits beside the wall while Elia ties back her hair. There is no breakfast waiting for them. Elia pours grain into a shallow bowl and picks out 2 small stones. She grinds the grain, mixes it with water, and stirs it over a charcoal brazier. The wooden spoon moves slowly around the pot. She adds a handful of lentils and a pinch of salt. The porridge becomes thinner, but there is more of it. Her husband eats quickly before leaving to look for work. The children receive their portions next. Elia waits until they stop asking for more. Then she scrapes what remains from the side of the pot into her own bowl. No one calls this a sacrifice. The spoon simply sounds louder against the empty clay. After the bowls are washed, she brings out her sewing basket. A neighbor has left a torn wool tunic to be mended before evening. The fabric is coarse, and the tear runs close to a seam. If the repair is weak, it will open again. If the stitches look careless, the neighbor may not pay. Elia threads the needle and bends over the cloth. The point passes through the wool, disappears, and returns. She pulls the thread tight, turns the tunic, and begins the next stitch. Small interruptions keep breaking her rhythm. Her daughter knocks over a cup. Her son cannot find his sandal strap. Ash gathers beneath the brazier, and the water jar needs covering. Roman epitaphs praised women for modesty, loyalty, wool work, and an orderly home. The neat phrases left little room for a day like this, when housework, childcare, and paid labor passed through the same pair of hands. By late afternoon, sunlight has crossed the wall and reached the wooden chest. Elia draws the last stitch tight. She checks the seam with her thumb. It will hold. She carries the tunic downstairs. A short time later, she returns with a small payment closed inside her fist. At a nearby stall, grain sits in one measure and lamp oil in another. She counts her coins once. There is not enough for both. Her eyes rest on the oil, then move back to the grain. She buys the grain. Tonight, the lamp will go out early. Tomorrow, the children will have something to eat. When her husband returns, the room looks much as it did that morning. The water jar stands near the wall. A pot warms over the brazier. The children wait for supper. He does not see the weight carried up the stairs, the stones picked from the grain, or the stitches hidden inside a repaired seam. He sees that there is water, food, and light. Work like hers is easiest to overlook when it succeeds. After supper, Elia folds the remaining cloth and places one coin inside the chest. The bronze key turns in the lock. The lamp flame is small now. She lowers the wick. The light bends, trembles, and disappears. In the darkness, the children are fed. The water jar is full enough for morning. The sowing has paid for another day of grain. Rome carved the names of emperors into stone. Women like Elia were often remembered in far fewer words. She kept the house, but what she really kept alive was everyone inside it. The bronze key turns once in the dark. Then the room becomes quiet.